I want to talk about the Trump counter-revolution, not the revolution. There's been a lot of false information, what the left calls misinformation, disinformation about what's going on in these first 30 days. It hasn't even been 30 days. It's reminiscent of FDR's first 100 days, and they call it the MAGA revolution. It's not a revolution. It is a counter-revolution. There's a big difference. So we're in the midst of a counter-revolution. It's not revolutionary. You know what it is? It's a return to normalcy. It's a return to common sense. It only looks revolutionary to revolutionaries. But to the rest of the people, it is a counter-revolution to restore normalcy and bring the country from the far left fringes back home again. This is a restoration. Let's use the word Trump restoration. We don't really appreciate what we've been through with 8 years of the Obama revolution and the 4-year more radical third term of Obama, using or employing the waxen effigy of Joe Biden.
Victor Davis Hanson argues that the current political climate should be viewed as a Trump restoration rather than a revolution, contrasting it with the previous Obama revolution. He emphasizes that the first 30 days of Trump's administration are being mischaracterized by the left as a revolution, when in fact he sees it as a counter-revolution. Hanson draws parallels between the current political changes and historical revolutions, particularly referencing the French Revolution and its radical transformations.
A revolution that we've experienced was a cultural, economic, political, social revolution. It was very similar to French Revolution under the Robespierre brothers. We should remember what they tried to do. They changed the days of the week. They renamed things. They tore down statues. They went after the church. Does this sound familiar? This revolution that we've experienced, everything was up for sale. Everything was negotiable. We invented a third gender and rammed it down people's throats. We tore down statues. We said 1776 was no longer the foundational date. It was 1619. We changed the very mechanism that we vote. We went from 70% of the electorate voting on election day to 70% of the electorate not doing that, either through mail-in or early voting. That was a radical change that had no discussion. It was done by fiat. It was incredible.
Hanson condemns the cultural, economic, and social upheavals of the Obama era, arguing they undermined American values. And he strongly warns of the lasting consequences of these shifts and calls for a revival of traditional norms to counter what he sees as a deliberate and radical transformation of society.
We looked at girls' sports and we destroyed it. We said that biological males that were now trans females could compete. They won over 600 medals they took away from hardworking female athletes.
Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
Pretty good, huh? I see that. Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out and win those events, right? Nice to see you all. Nice to meet you.
We had drag shows among young children. It was an effort to change the entire Constitution. We forget that. They were trying to bring in Puerto Rico as a state and Washington, D.C. to get 4 instant senators. They were proud. They said that they were going to pack the Supreme Court. It hadn't been tried since 1937. They wanted to bring back neo-Confederate nullification. 600 jurisdictions in the manner of South Carolina in 1832 are on the edge of the Civil War in 1860 when neo-Confederate Southern states said the federal government's law does not apply to us. Tariffs, Yankee tariffs, no, we were going to override them. Andrew Jackson almost invaded the Carolinas over that, South Carolina. These jurisdictions said, federal law doesn't apply here. We're exempt. We have our own laws. Federal immigration law does not apply here. It applies everywhere else to you, but not to us. Movies were different. Sports were different. Take a knee. And Donald Trump came in, and it was not sufficient to say we're going to stop the madness of $37 billion. We're going to stop the madness of being short 40 or 50,000 military recruits because of this DI, coupled with the humiliation in Kabul. We're going to stop the appeasement of China. But that wasn't all. He said, the government is broke. We're going to go through all of these agencies. And finally, for the first time in the history of this country, when somebody says they're going to cut federal spending and drain the swamp or cut the administration, we're going to do it. And there's going to be no changing names except to go back to traditional names. And we're not going to topple statues. And if you break the law and you're on campus and you're on a student visa, you're going to go back home. So we're in the midst of a counter-revolution. It's not revolutionary. You know what it is? It's a return to normalcy. It's a return to common sense. It only looks revolutionary to revolutionaries. But to the rest of the people, it is a counter-revolution to restore normalcy and bring the country from the far left fringes back home again.
Victor Davis Hanson challenges each and every one of us to rethink the narrative of these political shifts and understand the urgency of restoring traditional values in response to what he sees as radical societal change. What part of Hanson's argument resonates most with you, or do you find most controversial? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis.